Well, hello again all my YouTubers, and thanks once more for logging in to Classic Dirt Bike TV. Now, coming up in this next video, we're going to showcase some racing footage from the Classic Motocross De Nations event that was held at Bennett's Hill racetrack in Brughfield in Reading in that year. So if you raced or even attended that event, there's a good chance that you may catch a glimpse of yourself in this up and coming footage. So enough dithering from me just now. Let's just get straight into race one. Yes, indeed, this is race one, and we're going to kick off with the 35 plus age group class. Quite good lineup of riders for this race. This race will of course be 15 minutes plus one lap. Of course we won't show you every single lap due to the length of the video, but we'll certainly show you the highlights. Number 22, the old Jap scrambler there, is John Griffiths. Number 11 just coming into shot, that's Dominique Dandoy from Belgium. And number 51 there, that's Gary Green on the CZ, but it looks like we're just about good to go. A fantastic lineup of riders for this first 35 plus race. So as they all head into turn one, looks like we've got a couple of followers already. That was number 25 there, that was Ola Strandvad from Sweden on the CZ 380, but here is your race leader. It's number one, David Aria from the Czech Republic, riding that 250 CZ. Number 6 just going through there, that's A.D. Cox in second position. Number 45 there, that's Johnny Cash from Wales, as the rest of the riders make their way through the turn. Number 23 there for Northern Ireland, that's Peter Turtle riding that Cecil Pearson Jap scrambler, the Rickman Matisse frame with the 1930s Jap engine. A very quick old bike this. And so as the riders come round to complete at lap 2, looks like we've got a change of leader at the front. It's now number 6, that's A.D. Cox, who is riding for the England team on that BSA 500. So it's A.D. Cox, your race leader, absolutely flying on that BSA. The weather here, of course, at Bennett's Hill is absolutely perfect for this type of classic racing. Now I'll certainly try to pick up as many of the riders as I possibly can, although I do apologise for any mispronunciations of any names, so I'll do my best for that as we look at in number 21, that's Jeff Wright, who is riding CZ 360. Number 27 there, that's Jimmy Lorentzen from Sweden riding a BSA bike. But a very good collection of old classic BSAs and CZs in this 35 plus racing category. So there is your race leader. It's still A.D. Cox, number 6 on that BSA 500. Absolutely flying around this Bennett's Hill racetrack. Number 10 there, that's Olivier Dandy from Belgium. He's also riding a CZ 360 bike. Number 45 there, that looks like that could be John Cash from Wales. Number 52 is Chris Collins, another England rider, just being passed there by one of the Swedish team. Now England, of course, are fielding 2 separate teams in this 35 plus category, but it's number 6 here, that's A.D. Cox, who's leading the race. It looks like Scott Hayworth is in second position there, also riding a BSA 500. Jeff Wright doing very well there, just going through there for Northern Ireland. A couple of the Belgian riders just coming through. Just pick up some of these riders as they make the turn. Number 22 there, that's John Griffiths once again riding that Rickman Jap. And just coming through to make the turn now is number 52. That's Chris Collins, who's riding for the England number 2 team. And number 3 they're just going through is another one of the Czech Republic riders. That's Radek Zaradink. I do apologise for the pronunciation once again. It's probably not the right name for the rider, but I do apologise for that. And just coming through now is number 47. That's Andrew Owen on the 250 Husky. He's riding for Team Wales and appears to be doing quite well on that old Husqvarna machine. Now it looks like we've got a good battle on here between number, I think it's 21, I think that's Jeff Wright once again from Northern Ireland, who's having a nice battle there with number 17, that's Alessi Solda from Switzerland, who's also riding a BSA 500 bike. And that's England Team 2 rider. That's Chris Collins there on his 500 BSA, still doing quite well for the England 2 race team. So it looks like it's still at number 6 here. That's A.D. Cox, who's riding for the England number 1 race team. Very quick on this old 500 BSA bike. You can see he's got it well hooked up into those tight turns. I'm just trying to pick up who is in second position. We're looking at number 17 again. That's Alessi Solda. Number 5 going through there. And number 10, of course, is Olivier Dandoy from Belgium, and he's riding that 360 CZ machine. And just coming through there is number 52. That's Chris Collins once again on the BSA 500 for the England number 2 team. And number 46 there is listed as Tim Manton, who's supposed to be riding a BSA, but is certainly not got a BSA underneath him. It's unmistakably a CZ of some description, but it's maybe just an error in the race programme. And we're looking at number 21 there. That's Jeff Wright racing for the Northern Ireland racing team. He's doing very well out there on that CZ machine. Now this 2015 Classic Motocross De Nations event is being run by the Mortimer Classic Motorcycle Racing Club. Their first international event was held at Beenham Park way back in 1958, and this 2015 European Classic Motocross Championship is now 57 years after that first ever race meeting. So this Mortimer club are vastly experienced in hosting these type of off-road events. So we are currently looking at number 8. That's Scott Hayworth on the 500 BSA bike, riding for the England number 1 race team. Number 21 again, that's Jeff Wright, and sadly we lost Jeff to motor neuron disease in 2018, aged just 42, but as you can see, Jeff was super quick, not just on 2 wheels but on 4 wheels as well, and is still very sorely missed by all his fellow racers and friends. So that's number 21, Jeff Wright. Number 49 there, that's the legendary Keith Barnes, riding one of those Clues 500 Stroker machines. Keith, of course, is the son of another CCM legend, Mike Barnes, who is also racing at this 2015 Classic Motocross De Nations. But Keith looking very good on that Alan Clues Stroker machine. And just going through there is number 3, that's Radek Zaranadik from the Czech Republic, and he's riding that Jawa 400 two-stroke machine. Number 2 just coming through there, that's another of the Czech Republic riders, that's Martin Kubik riding the 360 CZ machine and looking very quick. There's quite a few of these Czech Republic riders very quick on these old CZ race machines. Looks like Martin Kubik is just behind number 7 there, that's Keith Rice, who is also riding a CZ 250. Number 24 just going through there, that's George Porter. He's riding for the Northern Ireland racing team. A good collection of riders for Northern Ireland attending this 2015 Classic MXDN. And number 9 there, that's one of the Belgian riders, that's Bjorn Verdoet, riding a CZ 250. Number 50 just going through there was Richard Warner, and would you believe he's also riding a Czechoslovakian CZ. Now it looks like the winner of this race is going to be number 8, that's Scott Hayworth on the BSA, and it looks like Eddie Cox is going to cross the line in second position. So a good race between these England number 1 team riders. Okay, next up it's the turn of the old timers, so to speak. It's race 2 and it's the 70 plus classes. They all head into turn 1. And it looks like it's the Belgians that are in positions 1 and 2 with Andre Dandoy on the CZ and Ustra on that Jawa 500 in first and second positions. Now you have to remember that these guys are over 70 years old, so you have to give them credit for taking these bikes out onto the track when they could be quite easily just standing trackside watching the racing, but fair play to these guys for taking their bikes out and actually racing them.
Over 70 years of age is to be admired. Dan Doy through on his own this time.
Now just coming towards us is number 19 for Belgium, that's Ag Nicholson on the BSA 440, and number 3 there is Ronnie Renders for Belgium, and he's also riding an old BSA, but some very good riders in this race for 70 plus years old. Number 12 there, that's Herman Lunen from the Netherlands on the Bultaco, and this number 11 bike is a Jawa 250 and a very rare machine, and it's been ridden by Jos Verwich. So there's your race leader, it's Andre Dandoy, and still in second place is this man here. Number 2 is Ustra, riding that Jawa 500 4-stroke machine. Number 19 again is Ag Nicholson, with number 3 Ronnie Renders just close behind. But a very nice and very rare bike, this number 11 Jawa 250 of Jos Verwich. So Andre Dandoy there, your race leader from Belgium on his CZ. Number 20 is Jens Bakum Skavensen from Denmark on the BSA. Another very nice looking British machine. Number 32 just going through there, that's Gordon Adset, riding another Czechoslovakian CZ 360 bike as they head up the hill, but Gordon looking very good on that Czechoslovakian CZ. And just ahead of Gordon there is number 18, that's Bent Prios from Denmark, who's riding that Jawa 600 4-stroke machine. Number 31 there going through, that's the legend that is Mike Barnes. Mike Barnes, of course, a famous CCM racer from back in the day, out there riding an old BSA. Now here's your race leader once again. It's Andrew Dandoy, who has more or less led this race from the very start, and it's hard to imagine that this rider is over 70 years old riding this CZ 360 machine. Number 19 coming up the hill there, that's Ag Nicholson once again on his BSA 400 from Denmark. It looks like he's in second position at this time. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, this of course was a few years ago, but I think there was about 15 separate European countries at this Classic Motocross De Nations event, so it was well represented. Number 12 there is Herman Lunan from the Netherlands, and he's riding that quite rare and quite nice 250 Bultaco machine. Now, we may get a closer look at some of these bikes later on my YouTube channel. We may take a walk through the paddock at this Classic Motocross De Nations event and just check out some of these lovely bikes. So here's your race leader, number 1 Andrew Dandoy, still in the lead of this 70 plus race. Second position is still this man here, Ustra, riding that quite rare Jawa 500 4-stroke machine. Number 11 again is Jos Verwich on that nice and rare Jawa 250 bike. We may get a close look at this bike later on my YouTube channel. But it was a win for Belgian rider André Dandoy, and second was Ustra. So this is race 3. This is the 66 plus class. As the riders get into turn 1, it looks like we've got a faller into turn 1, and that looks like number 8, that's Soren Johansson from Sweden on his old BSA. And once again, another very good lineup of riders for this 66 plus class race. So we're just waiting on the riders emerging from the very tricky, tight and twisty woodland section of the track, and it looks like it's number 32, that's Doug Sherborne on the BSA 350, who is your race leader as he comes round to take the turn. And it looks like we've got an English rider in second place, a Dutch rider in third, a Swedish rider in fourth, and we're currently looking at number 34 coming round for a Northern Ireland. That's Tom Wright, of course, the father of Jeff Wright, who we mentioned just previously. Tom, also a very accomplished rider for the Northern Ireland team. And so as they head up the hill, we're looking at one of the England riders. That's number 30. That's Philip Edwards, who's riding that very nice Triumph 500 bike. Second place is one of the Dutch riders. Third position is number 8. That's Soren Johansson, who had that fall right at the start of this race, but looks like he's recovered sufficiently to move up to that track position. And it looks like a good battle here developing between number 34 Tom Wright and number 36 Alan Arnott. Both of these riders, of course, mounted on 500 BSA bikes. So we are currently looking at number 34 Tom Wright as one of the Czechoslovakian riders makes his way up to the top of the hill. So we're just waiting on our race leader emerging from the wooded section of the track, and as he makes his way up the hill, it looks like this time round it looks like it could be Doug Sherborne who is your race leader. Should be number 32, but we'll get a look at Doug as he comes down the hill. In fact, it is Doug Sherborne on the BSA 350 who is your race leader. But I must say it's very hard to imagine that all of these riders are over 66 years of age and still riding their old classic bikes to this level. But Doug Sherborne certainly looks like he's doing really well in pole position. Number 9 there is Hans Polsvoort from the Netherlands on that lovely matchless 500. Alan Arnott from Northern Ireland just going through the picture there, and another one of the Czechoslovakian riders just making his way through. And number 1 there is Belgian rider Jean Stas on the CZ 360. Number 12 there is Ben Heman on the Triumph 500 from the Netherlands. Another one of the top Dutch riders at this event, and just passing us there is number 33, that's Albert Stewart from Northern Ireland. Although here is the battle for first position. It was Doug Sherborne who was your race leader in the first few laps, but it looks like he's now been overtaken by number 30. That's Philip Edwards on that very quick Triumph Twin machine. So it's Philip Edwards first, second is Doug Sherborne here on the BSA 350. A nice battle developing between these front two riders, and as you can see, the conditions here at the Bennett's Hill racetrack almost perfect for this kind of classic and vintage racing. So just coming towards us there is number 36, that's Alan Arnott on the BSA riding for Team Northern Ireland. So we're just about to pick up our race leader in this 66 plus category race. It's number 30, Philip Edwards, riding his Triumph 500. Philip, of course, a very experienced rider on these old classic Triumph machines, and it looks like he's already beginning to stretch his lead from the second place rider, who is of course number 32, Doug Sherborne, just coming through the picture here. And number 5 coming through there is Jürgen Enstrom on the BSA 440 machine. Once again, we're looking at Alan Arnott on the BSA as he heads to the top of the hill, riding that very nice BSA 500. Alan, of course, is a well accomplished vintage dirt bike builder and a very good engineer, so this BSA 500 will be a well sorted machine for Alan Arnott. Okay, next up we're looking at number 38, that's John Duncombe, riding the BSA 650, and John, of course, is riding for Team Wales in this Classic Motocross De Nations 2015 event. And just going through there is number 37, that's Mick Maskin, also riding for the Team Wales. So once again we are looking at our race leader, number 30, Philip Edwards, riding the Triumph 500, and Philip of course is riding for Team England in this 66 plus class race. It's quite hard to imagine that these older guys are over 66 years old and riding these old classic bikes as fast as they are, but nevertheless in many respects, and hats off to these guys for riding their machines. And we're just picking up some of our riders as they make their way around to complete their last and final lap of this 66 plus race. It looks like it's going to be an easy win for number 30, Philip Edwards from England, and we're looking at number 25, that's Helmut Millens on the CZ 380 bike. But hats off to all these guys who took part in the 66 plus race, and it's hard to imagine that these guys are riding these bikes. It's so quick. Okay, we now move on to the 60 plus class, and this will be obviously race 4. Another good lineup of riders for this particular class. It looks like we're all good to go as the riders leave the line and make their way into turn 1. Looks like most of the riders have safely negotiated turn 1, and thankfully no fallers to report this time as they all head into the wooded section of the racetrack. But an absolutely beautiful day and a nice batch of spectators turned out to see this 2015 Classic Motocross De Nations event. So we're just awaiting on our race leader emerging from the wooded section of the racetrack, and it looks like it could be Pete Mattia for England, number 29 there. It is in fact Pete Mattia riding a CZ 360. In second position is number 13, that's Roger Brillet from France, and Roger's also riding a BSA 500 bike. Now of course this was a 2-day event here at Bennett's Hill, with this ECMO De Nations event held on the Saturday the 5th of September, and on the Sunday here at Bennett's Hill we also had a Mortimer Classic Motorcycle Club race event, which also included sidecar motocross, and there's already video footage from the Sunday posted on my YouTube channel, so I hope you'll take a look at that. So here is your race leader. It's number 29, that's Pete Mattia, or the Cheshire Charger as he's known. But what can you say about this guy? Pete is just another one of Britain's racing legends, and he rode professionally for Montesa and Maiko and a few other manufacturers, and has already won this Classic Motocross De Nations over 60s title at least twice that I know of. But Pete has always looked after himself fitness wise, and it certainly shows in the speed that he's carrying around this Bennett's Hill racetrack. And number 49 there is another famous Welsh racer, that's Rob Griffiths just going through. And number 44 is Stuart Riddle on the Twin Port CZ, and number 39 there is Michael Baldwin riding that big matchless for the Northern Ireland team. But we're picking up our race leader again. It's still Pete Mattia, who has a fantastic lead over the second place rider, but Pete absolutely flying around this Bennett's Hill racetrack, and he's certainly looking pretty quick on this Czechoslovakian CZ machine, or CZ machine if you're watching in the States. But he's still one of the smoothest riders I've ever seen on a 490 Maiko. If you've ever seen Pete riding one of those big Michaels, then it's really something very special to see. So as he comes round to complete yet another lap, there just seems to be no sign of the second place rider. Pete's got quite a substantial lead on the second place rider, but he's riding this Czechoslovakian CZ machine superbly. Yes, in the past I've seen Pete locking horns with one of Scotland's top twin shock riders, Paul Chiappa, who was also riding a 490 Micro, and always remember some of the battles that Pete Mathia and Paul Chiappa used to have at the likes of the Canada Heights racing circuit. Some epic battles between Scotland and England's finest. Just going through there is number 13, that's one of the French riders, that's Roger Brillet. Also just coming towards us there we have number 51, that's Dave Bevan, riding for Team Wales. And just coming through there is number 10, that's Karel Kozak, riding for the Czech Republic. Number 26 there, that's Flavio Solda, riding for Switzerland, and number 30 there is Alan Deere, riding for one of the English teams. So here's your race leader. He's already beginning to lap some of the slower riders on the track, so it's still your race leader, number 29, Pete Mathia. Pete's got a style all to his own. If you watch Pete, he's up on the pegs, sitting on the seat, and he's got a very good style for riding these old classic bikes. Now, my apologies if I'm not being able to tell you who is in second place, because Pete's got that much of a lead on the second place man. He's already coming through the field and lapping a lot of the slower riders, so it looks like he's well on his way to winning this race. Number 10 there again, that's one of the Czechoslovakian riders, Karel Kozak, who's riding the 360 CZ. As you would expect, a lot of these Czechoslovakian riders brought a nice array of these CZ and Jawa machines to this Bennett Hill racetrack for the Classic Motocross De Nations, and we'll maybe take a look at some of those bikes in a future video here on my channel. Now, many of these races here at the Classic Motocross De Nations event are mainly 15 minutes plus one lap, so it's quite a long race for these older bodies and older race bikes, but as you can see, doesn't seem to be a problem for the Cheshire Charger here. Your race leader at number 29, Pete Mathia. And so as he makes his way through on his last and final lap of this race, Pete took the lead of this race quite early on and has hardly been troubled by any of the other riders, so it looks like he's heading to stroll across the checkered flag. So it's a fantastic race win for number 29, Pete Mathia, as he takes the checkered flag. Okay, our final race in this De Nations 2015 video is the over 50s class, or the 50 plus class, one of the biggest fields of riders in this particular event, as they all leave the line and make their way into turn one. What a fantastic turnout of old classic race bikes. Now, over the course of the weekend, I never really did any filming in the wooded section of the track because it was quite tight and twisty and there wasn't really a lot to see, but we've confined our racing footage to the open sections here of the track. So here's your race leader coming through. It's number 2. It looks like it's Miroslav, who is riding that CZ 400 for the Czech Republic. It looks like one of the Dutch riders in second position there. A couple of the Irish riders going through. Number 33 there, that's Adrian Lappin. riding that Rickman Jap that belongs to Cecil Pearson. Cecil Pearson has at least 6 of these old Jap machines here at this De Nations event at Bennett's Hill. But it's a fantastic collection of riders for this 50 plus class race here at Bennett's Hill. Number 30 there, that's Ian Robertson on the 400 Husqvarna, and sadly Ian was another one of the Scottish racing legends that we lost in 2019. So we're looking at number 4, that's Jan Hardina from the Czech Republic, who was listed as riding a CZ 380, but as you can see he's not riding a CZ. It's certainly an old British BSA, but maybe he's had some problems with his two-stroke machine. So we're just looking to the wooded section to pick up the rest of the chasing pack. There is your race leader. It's number 2, Miroslav for the Czech Republic, riding that very quick 400 CZ machine. And number 12 there, just taking the lead, is none other than the famous Andy Robertson, riding for the England team, and he's riding that BSA 500, and a very experienced rider, Andy Robertson. And we've got a couple of the Irish riders coming through. Number 33 is Adrian Lappin. Number 36 is Trevor Calderwood, also riding for Team Northern Ireland. We have another Irish rider coming through. It's number 34, that's David Wilson, riding at BSA. So we're just waiting on the rest of the chasing pack making their way through. Number 45 coming towards us there, that's Pascal Dronet from France on the BSA. We're back looking at Scotland's Ian Robertson there, number 30 on the 400 Husqvarna. Ian is still sadly missed by everybody in Scotland after his tragic accident in 2019. So here is your race leader. It's still number 2, Miroslav, riding the 400 CZ machine. Second is Andy Robertson, number 12 for England. But this looks like a very quick bike that Miroslav is riding. Andy Robertson looking to try and get that pole position. And in third position there is number 13, I think that's Jan Blankert from Belgium, who yet again is riding a Czechoslovakian CZ. But it looks like number 13, Jan Blankert, has moved into second position. You're looking at number 34, that's David Wilson from Northern Ireland. Looks like David's being chased by one of the Dutch riders, that's number 5, Gerrit Poelsvoet on the Jawa 500 machine. Very nice and quite a rare bike, that machine of Gerrit's, and he's looking like he's giving David Wilson quite a good run for his money there. Number 4 is Jan Hardina from the Czech Republic, and still circulating round on his BSA machine. Number 38 just going through there, that's one of the Swiss riders, that's Eric Haney. So we're looking at number 13, and this could be your new race leader. I think it is. It's Jan Blankert from Belgium, your new race leader. Looks like Andy Robertson is in second position now, but looks like Jan is beginning to open up a gap to second place man, which of course is Miroslav, but moved up into third place now is number 10, that's Keith Best on the CZ. And number 5 there again is Gerrit Poelsvoet on that Jawa 500 4-stroke machine. Now many of these riders have had to travel a good distance to get to this Bennett's Hill racetrack here in Reading in the UK. It's good to see the Irish boys over, and many of these Swiss and Belgian riders had a good trek to get to this Brughfield racetrack. We're looking at two of the Czech riders. Number 4 there is Jan Ardina, and number 1 is Pavel Rusvel. Both these riders riding for the Czech Republic, of course. And number 32 there, I think that's Scotland's Willie Gordon, riding that lovely BSA Matisse machine. So we're picking up the battle for the lead of this 50 plus race. It's still number 2 Miroslav from the Czech Republic who leads. Keith Best, number 10 on the CZ. Third is Andy Robertson. Now Andy Robertson is of course riding a BSA at 500. So a good battle developing at the front. Number 42, just going past David Wilson there, is Goran Karlsson from Sweden. And it looks like David Wilson is looking to get back onto terms and get that track position back. And number 16 there, that's Mixhel de Maret from Belgium, and he's riding that Triumph 500 and doing really well on that bike. Number 31 just going past there, that's Ian Stainton for Scotland. But here is number 10, Keith Best, who was in second position the last time round. It looks like Keith is still in that second position. Number 36 there is Irish rider Trevor Calderwood. Trevor is a very experienced rider, and of course won the Don Matthews CZ World Championship in 2016. Now once again we're looking at number 4, that's Jan Ardina from the Czech Republic, doing really well on that bike. I'm not exactly sure if he is our current race leader at the moment, but still doing very well. Number 30 once again is Ian Robertson. Ian did really well at this Classic Motocross De Nations weekend, and as you can see he was always very quick on whichever bike that he raced. Number 44, that's Lars Attestjo from Sweden, riding the Husky 250 two-stroke machine. Number 32 just going through again was of course Willie Gordon on that Matisse. Number 33 is Adrian Lappin. Number 36 again is Trevor Calderwood, riding that old side Piper at CZ. And as you've no doubt gathered, there seems to be a really massive influx of Czechoslovakian CZs at this Motocross De Nations event here at Bennett's Hill. So that's Trevor Calderwood at number 36. Number 45 again is Pascal Dronet, who is riding the BSA 500. Pascal, of course, is part of the France racing team. Number 31 there is Ian Stainton, who's just about to be passed by our race leader, which is still Jan Blankert from Belgium. Number 13 on that 380 CZ machine. Number 1 is Pavel Rusvel, who is in second position. So we're just waiting as these guys cross the line to begin the last and final lap of this 50 plus race. And I do hope you've enjoyed this racing coverage from the 2015 Classic Motocross De Nations here at Bennett's Hill. And don't forget, if you like what you see on my YouTube channel, then just hit that like button, or better still, just subscribe to my channel. So once again, thank you for watching the Classic Motocross De Nations 2015. Well, I hope you enjoyed that racing action from the 2015 Classic Motocross De Nations that was held at Bennett's Hill in Brughfield in Reading. Now, because this was a 2-day event, we still have plenty more racing footage from that particular race meeting, so I may post more of the racing later. So coming up in my next video, we'll be going back to the video archives again, and we'll be showcasing some more of those fantastic paddock bikes. And included in the next video, we'll be taking a look at Stevie Shaw's lovely 250 Husqvarna. We'll also be taking a look at Blair Anderson's 500 Jawa Matisse bike. And maybe to finish, we will have a look at this beautiful Curtis Honda with that big 500 XR motor. So I hope you'll rejoin me to take a look at those classic bikes when we all return to see more of these bikes from back in the day here on Classic Dirt Bike TV.